How did a poor boy from Algiers, Louisiana, grow to become one of the most influential figures in all of modern Carnival? Class is in session. I'm Professor Carnival, and this is Carnival Unmasked! For those of you who don't know me, I'm Professor Carnival. For 30 years, I appeared on New Orleans television as a carnival expert, also as a parade narrator and a Mardi Gras historian. I'm also the star of the Professor Carnival stage show, and in 2021, I was named an official culture bearer for the city of New Orleans by mayoral proclamation. I love everything about Carnival and Mardi Gras, especially this story. Let's get to it! He was the son of an artist who survived the Great Depression by painting signs for barges and freighters at the port of New Orleans. So, how did young Blaine Kern become one of the most influential figures in New Orleans Carnival? The story begins in 1932, when 5-year-old Blaine watched his father, Roy, attach a homemade float atop a garbage wagon for the first parade of the Crew of Allah. From that moment, he was fascinated by Carnival and Mardi Gras. Later, he, along with his mother and 3 sisters, was sent off to live with the Skeffington sisters.
My mother, believe it or not, was raised by 4 of these old ladies, and we went and lived with them because we didn't have the $17.50 a month for the rent. But these old ladies had a library in their homes, and I read H.G. Wells and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and Jules Verne and Edgar Rice Burroughs, and I was going to the moon before Sputnik.
Following high school, he attended the New Orleans Academy for Art, a year before being drafted into World War II in 1945. After his return to Algiers, his mother fell ill, requiring expensive surgery. To pay for her care, Kern painted a mural at the hospital depicting the history of medicine. Dr. Henry LaRocca, who was also captain of the Crew of Allah, asked the 19-year-old to decorate their floats. In 1947, he formed Blaine Kern Artists, adding the Crew of Choctaw and the Rex Parade to his list of clients. When his work caught the attention of no less than Walt Disney, Blaine Kern nearly said yes. However, it was the captain of the Rex organization, Darwin Fenner, who had some prescient advice.
I came home and I told Darwin Fenner, the captain of Rex, "Captain, I'm going to Hollywood. I want to work for Walt Disney. He was like a god to me." Mr. Fenner said, "Son, let me tell you something. You go to Hollywood, you could be a little fish in a big, big pond. The way you are acting and doing Mardi Gras, it's going to grow and grow. You're going to end up being a big fish in a little pond."
With Fenner's patronage, Blaine was sent to learn from the carnival celebrations in Germany, France, Spain, and Italy to bring that knowledge back to New Orleans, and for good reason. Following 2 world wars and a pandemic, the 19th century float designs were no longer the draw they had once been. Tourists and locals needed something new. Some of the most important lessons he learned were in Viareggio, Italy, one of the great carnival capitals of Europe. Kern was particularly struck by their tradition for large papier-mâché walking heads and the intricate mechanical animation on the floats, but what made the biggest impression was the lavish ornamentation and sheer size of those floats. This is what New Orleans Mardi Gras really needed. The parades he designed in the late 1950s and early 1960s for Rex introduced the papier-mâché heads and animations that he had learned in Italy, and are still remembered as some of the organization's most favored parades. But perhaps his greatest invention was the invention of the Super Crew. Interest in New Orleans Mardi Gras had begun to wane in the 1960s. Again, even with the new innovations, Carnival found itself losing its shine. By 1968, only half of the city's hotel rooms were filled every year, and it looked like even more New Orleanians were growing tired of it all. Both Kern and legendary restaurateur Owen "Pip" Brennan, along with other city leaders, had been discussing the situation for a while. Before 1969, crew membership worked mostly on the secret society model. You had to be a family member of a member, or you had to be a friend of a member in order to be considered for inclusion. Then, the entire crew would vote upon that new member. If one single member voted against that person, then the candidate was instantly released, and they would not be allowed to join the crew ever, permanently. Kern and Brennan decided that it wasn't the way forward, and in 1969, they formed the Crew of Bacchus and introduced the Super Crew. Bacchus would not only be one of the largest parades of that year for its debut, it would also be the first crew to open their membership up to anyone, anywhere, worldwide. Bacchus was a huge success and changed Carnival forever. Bacchus was the gateway for modern Carnival as we know it today. They paved the way for such crews as Orpheus and Muses and allowed other crews like Sulu and Endymion to expand into the extravaganzas that we see today. Though Blaine Kern sadly passed away in 2020, the company continues to be run by his son Blaine Jr. Blaine Kern's Mardi Gras World is now a major tourist attraction, allowing people from around the world to not only come and see the parades, but to step into Blaine Kern's Mardi Gras World and see how those wonderful parades are created. And it all started with a young boy from Algiers, Louisiana, watching his father erect a crude float atop a garbage truck for the very first parade of the Crew of Honor. Mr. Mardi Gras Blaine Kern, an iconic part of our Carnival heritage. Class dismissed. Your homework is to like and share this video and follow me on all your social media. On Facebook, YouTube, Blue Sky, and X at Prof Carnival, and on Instagram and TikTok at Prof Carnival 1996. See you soon!